Okay, let's understand the important fields in vendor master data and customer master data. In S4HANA, it is called business partner, but I just want to touch base the important fields in vendor master data and customer master data separately. In vendor master data, the most important field is check double invoice. There is a tab called check double invoice in all the vendor master data. Of course, there are certain configurations that needs to be done for that particular field to appear in the vendor master data. But as an end user, you always have to ensure that the vendor master data tab is checked. SAP applies three parameters to check double invoice posting. What are those three parameters? Invoice reference number of the vendor, invoice date of the vendor, vendor's account number in SAP, that is in our books. System applies these three parameters to check double invoice posting. If there is any duplication of any of these three parameters, SAP will throw an error. In the sense, SAP will show a warning message. System, not warning message, system will throw an error message. It will not allow you to do the posting at all. Then comes the payment term. Payment term is nothing but the credit period given by the vendor for our transactions. In all the master data, payment term is very important. Normally, there should not be any difference between the payment term mentioned in the vendor master data and the payment term mentioned in the purchase order. It's not a good practice, but it would be prudent to check whether the payment term in the vendor master data and the payment term in the purchase order are uniform. Then comes the payment method. Payment method is nothing but the mode of payment. I could make a check payment to a vendor, or I could make a fund transfer to a vendor, or I could use an LC payment to a vendor. That needs to be specified in the vendor master data. Then comes the bank details. I have to ensure that the bank details in the vendor master data is correct. So why do I need all these three fields? Whenever I make an automatic payment run in SAP, system checks these three parameters and does the posting. So we have to be very careful in ensuring that these three fields are as per the management's requirement. Then comes your recon account. Recon account is nothing but the control account. That is basically meant for grouping the accounts. Like for domestic vendors, I could have one recon account or control account. For international vendors or overseas vendors, I can have a separate control account or recon account. The basic difference between a recon account and the GL account is that it's also GL account, but the only thing is in recon account, you can't do any direct posting. Then comes your withholding tax code. There's nothing but your TDS code. You have to be very careful whether the withholding tax code mentioned in the master data is correct, so that your TDS calculation also is computed correctly. Then there's something called alternative payee. Alternative payee is basically meant for transactions where a vendor could issue an invoice in a particular name, but he might request you to make the payment term in a different name. Like the invoice could be in the name of A, but the vendor could request the payment in the name of B. But this will also be recorded in the vendor master data. So you have to be very careful as to whether the alternative payee name is mentioned correctly in the vendor master data, that too after getting the approval from the management. Now, as an accountant, I have to ensure that there are no changes in this vendor master data. How do I analyze the changes made to these fields in the vendor master data? The T code is FK04. If you use this T code, you will get all the changes made to any field in the vendor master data. I felt these fields are important. You might have some more fields which are important for your organization, but you will also get those fields appearing in this particular T code. Then comes your customer master data. What is the What all I personally felt, the Incoterm in the custom master data is also very important. Why? Let's say when I want to recognize my revenue, I have to ensure whether my revenue recognition is intact. Let's say if a customer's Incoterm is X bucks, the moment I deliver and the moment I supply the material from my warehouse, I can consider that sale as complete. That's the reason Incoterm in the custom master data is very important. Similarly, payment term. Payment term is also very important. Basically, nothing but the credit period allowed by us to the customers. So based on this payment term only, the due date will be calculated. Then comes payment method. Payment method is nothing but the mode of payment. Why I mentioning this particular field is that there could be a case where you may have to refund some amount to your customer. For that also, you might be using your automatic payment run. So in that case, that will be very specific. Are we and what is the mode of refund to the vendor? Are we giving a check to the vendor? Are we giving a fund transfer to the vendor? Sorry, to the customer for any refund. Then your recon account, as I mentioned earlier in the vendor master data, it's nothing but the control account. Then the bank details. Bank details are also important. Why? Because whenever I'm making refund to the customer, I have to ensure whether am I transferring the funds to the bank account prescribed by the customer in their letterhead, which is very important. So how do I monitor the changes made to the customer master data? The T code is FD04. You could make out from these T codes all the other characters are same except the second character, where for vendor I'm using K and for customer I'm using D. Most of the end users will definitely understand what I meant. Let's understand the important fields in GL master data and FA master data. In GL master data, there's something called auto posting. What is this auto posting? System does the posting as per the configuration made in SAP. Like for stock account, system will do the posting as per the configuration. Whenever any inward entry or outward entry takes place, system will do the posting as per the as per the account configured. There should not be any manual intervention. I mean, end user cannot be allowed to do any posting directly to this GL. If manual entry is allowed, then things will go haywire. That's the reason certain GLs like stock account auto posting field has to be checked by default. Then they're called posting without tax. What is this posting without tax? Whenever an end user does the posting, he has to ensure whether any tax code is applicable. That is, whether input tax is applicable or output tax is applicable or no tax code is applicable. The end user has to be very specific. So this is a field which tells you whether the end user can do the posting without choosing the particular tax code, or he has to choose the tax code whenever he does the posting for the particular GL. Then comes your sort key. Sort key is nothing but uh, it will tell the system what data should be captured in your assignment field. For example, in a GRIR account, predominantly it will be your purchase order number followed by the item number, so that whenever there is any posting, system will automatically reconcile the debit and credit entry and show only the open item. System will automatically knock off the debit and credit entry. Then comes your open item management. Open item management is important, especially for vendors or customers or for any GL if you wanted to monitor the pending items. What I meant for GL is in some corporates they're using a particular GL only for fixed deposit, wherein they wanted to see which particular FD are really open for maturity. I mean, wherever they don't have any treasury module rolled out. Then you got supplement auto posting. This is basically you will I mean the in you can enter only certain fields manually. That is what they meant as supplement auto posting. That is, auto posting will be enabled, but Let's say there are certain fields which end user can enter, then you'll have to choose this particular option. Like in some cases, the profit center may not be entered, or some other field could not be entered, which the management normally decides at the time of implementation. Then comes your fixed asset master data. Most important field is asset class. Asset class is nothing but how do I classify the asset? Is it a machinery or a building or a furniture fixtures? I have to first classify the nature of the asset. So asset class is one of the most important field. Account determination. Predominantly, the account determination will be in line with your asset class. Basically, it's a kind of a key which enables you to do the posting meant for those fixed asset class. Like for plant and machinery, there will be a separate GL. For building, there will be a separate GL. For furniture fixtures, there will be a separate GL. So account determination key is the one which triggers the posting to those particular GL accounts. Then we have got cost center. Cost center is very, very important, especially from a product costing perspective. Because whenever you are buying an asset for a particular plant, you have to ensure that the cost center is entered in the asset master data. Then you got insurance field, which is also very important because you have to you can even mention the values or you can use it for other statutory purposes. Then you got location. Location is very, very important because you have to specify the location of the asset so that at any point in time you can derive the value location wise. I mean, it will also help you whenever you want to do any kind of an insurance claim. This is very, very important. Then you've got depreciation key. Depreciation key is nothing but the rate of depreciation that is prescribed for the particular asset. Now, normally the depreciation key will be uniform based on the account asset class. So you'll have to be very careful on this particular field. Now, how do I monitor the changes made to a GL master data? The key code is FS04. How do I monitor the changes made to an asset master data or asset class? That is AR16. I think end users can make use of these three codes to see the changes made for the GL master data and fixed asset master data. Thank you, friends. This is my contact details. You can reach out to me in case you have any query in any of the slides discussed. I personally felt that it would be prudent for the end user to practice in their desk, that is in their organization, so that they can be in a position to connect the dots because the customization is different for each and every organization. But it's better you use these T codes and understand the concepts. In case you have any doubt, you can please write to me in the email what I mentioned in this slide, or you can even call me on the number what I mentioned in this slide. Thank you so much.